We got from the New York Post. Zohran Mamdani's new NYC tenant advocate called to seize private property and blasted home ownership as white supremacy.
Yeah.
There's a video going viral, and it's very obvious what Zohran was going to do and what he wants to do. This woman thinks you shouldn't be allowed to own property.
Yep.
She thinks you're a white supremacist for owning property. You know, part of me just desperately wants the people of New York to experience this, but I also know that it won't stop there. So, yeah, we can't let it happen. I will also add the funniest thing about Zohran Mamdani getting, he's becoming mayor. They just raised the fares on buses.
Yeah,
$3. Right when he got, it went up 10 cents. So, like, right when he gets in, they increase the bus fares. Now, everyone's saying, I see these viral tweets of, like, Zohran just raised bus fare. No, he didn't. The bus fare plan was passed a long time ago. The increase in the cost was going to happen whether he got elected or not. But it is still funny that free bus Mamdani gets in and then prices stick
He's like,
upward.
free, I have a list, but I meant 3. It's in Arabic. It's different. In Uganda, that's how we say 3.
Well, he's like, I'm from Brooklyn. You misheard me. I didn't say free. I said free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Free.
So true. I don't know. I like with Zohran, I think one thing that's going to happen, this is going to be a very unpopular take, and I'm saying this as an exiled New Yorker, very right-wing, so I've skin in the game, so to speak. I think primarily what's going to be happening throughout the Zohran era is he's going to be rage-baiting conservatives like as much as he possibly can, and I think the most consequential result of Zohran's New York City, so to speak, is just more vape shops open, and the city just slowly gets worse. I think he is actually kind of part of the managed decline. My case for this is because New York City is actually driven by the city council. So you saw like Zohran rolled back all the Eric Adams executive orders. That's all he can really do from the mayor's office. Like most of this is going to be him rage baiting, him agitating, because he knows that if he can sort of become like a boogeyman for the right, so to speak, which it wouldn't even really be a boogeyman because he is a legitimate threat, that legitimizes him. That legitimizes him in the Democratic Party. And that is really what the attempt is, because what Zohran's trying to do is he's trying to clear that pathway for Democratic Socialists in 28 and 32.
Look at the flags that are behind him.
So, like, yeah, I'm not even as concerned about what Zohran's going to do to New York City. Like I said, I think he's primarily should be a rage baiter, because what he's trying to do is catch all the flack from the right wing, so that way he can legitimize his ideology within the Democrat Party. So then someone could become a governor. Someone could even become president, with the same ideology as him, because he, swept the mines, so to speak.
Well, what would you say to the idea that the left is actually moving to confiscate property? Because it's not just Mamdani's talk about, people that own homes. There's the $1 billion or the billionaire tax that they're trying to do in California. And that essentially will say, look, your property is no longer your own. They're going to go ahead and start saying, look, if you own things, we're going to go ahead and do an audit and set a value. And so there's I think it's like there's 8 trillion or something like that you can get out of the billionaires in the United States. But if you look at the middle class, it's something like $100 trillion worth of value you can get, or something like that. It's some astronomical number. So this is really just a cover to get the policy started and then to go after the middle class. So the idea that it's going to take from the billionaires, that's just how it starts. And you can look at the income tax as evidence of that. It started at just the top 1%, or it's just the top earners, and it was 1%. Now everybody pays 35-40% of their income.
What Zohran's doing here is he's trying to turn himself into a martyr so he can become a rock star within the Democrat Party. So then a city councilman in Jacksonville that's a Democrat can now advocate for those policies, because that's like Zohran's policies. That's what's actually going on here. So the threat isn't even really to New York City. Like I said, I think the most consequential result of New York City, in the Zohran era, so to speak, will just be vape shops and whatnot. I think what's going to happen is he is turning himself into a martyr, into this rock star, so he can continue to drag the Democrat Party to the left.
I think you're right that he's looking to drag the Democrat Party to the left, but I don't think that it's an unpopular position in the Democrat Party overall, because someone like Ro Khanna was talking about the billionaire tax in California.
All he's doing is just legitimizing it.
Yeah, and
because and the way to do that isn't by scoring electoral victories. The way to do that is to rage bait the right, to then be viewed as this rock star, to be viewed as this martyr. People on the right do that. People on the left do that. If you can draw the ire of the other party, then what's going to happen is people on the left are going to say, wow, they perceive this guy as a threat. Wow, they perceive this guy as a viable threat to what they're trying to do. We should emulate that.
But the point that I'm making is I don't I'm not disputing your point. I think that but I do think that it's more broad than just Mamdani. I think the Democrat Party is going to continue to push policies like this. I think they're going to say, look, it's time for us to expropriate from the billionaire class. You see people talking about it all the time. You say people saying, oh, there shouldn't be billionaires. We should take property from blah, blah, blah.
Now,
and if you start that with billionaires, it'll be a decade before they're doing it to everybody.
I'm going to take y'all boys back in time and talk about poker. So there's a lot of laws in the states that say you can't play poker with more than $10. Now, when I talk to regular people about that, they're like, yeah, it's a fake law that was passed to make it basically say you can't play poker. No. You're wrong. When the law was passed, $10 was a lot of money. So they were basically saying, guys, fine, you can play poker, but so long as you're not playing with $1 million, you can play with 10,000. And for most people, that's more than you'd need. Inflation happens, and now $10 certainly doesn't mean anything. The point is, what's going to happen with New York is they are going to say the millionaires and the billionaires. Guess what? You bought a house 10 years later, it's worth $1 million. Yeah. You're a millionaire now. And we're going to take your property because you're a millionaire. And you're like, wait, hold on. I bought this property and it was like $300K and I was paying my mortgage off and inflation happened and the prices skyrocketed. And now I own $1 million home. And they're going to say, and you are being forced to sell it, and we're going to take it from you. So the problem is, it's funny. I was watching, I think it was like Seinfeld or something. And it's an early 90s sitcom. I think it was Seinfeld.
I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld.
And someone goes like, he makes 6 figures. And they go, 6 figures? Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, someone making 6 figures was like,
yeah,
whoa.
It was like,
yeah, because
like upper middle.
In 1992, like 100,000 would be the equivalent of like $300K today or something like that.
You could buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari for $100,000 in like the early 90s. Now they're like $500,000.
Let me look this up. 100K in 1992 to today, because I think it's like double, right?
It's more than that.
More than that.
Yeah,
100,000 in 1992 is $231,000 today. Jeez. So if you know somebody who makes 100K, you might be like, that's a good salary. If you know someone's making 230, you're going like, man, you got extra money. That's what it was like back in the day. So what's going to happen with all of this socialist commie policy BS is that inflation, guys, silver is at like $75.
Yep.
Holy crap. Let me pull this up.
Gold's 4,300.
Oh my, guys, it's the apocalypse. I'm not playing any games. I am meaningless. Totally. Silver at $76.77 terrifies me. And it peaked at 77.02. That's terrifying. Gold has sat around $20 forever, for decades, and it's rapidly skyrocketing. Now, don't get me wrong, AI machines, self-driving cars, silver is in high demand, and people have been buying it. I'll just say this. We ran promos for silver. I'm not telling you what to do, but the people who bought it are certainly very happy. But it just jumped even higher. My concern with silver going up is just it's the economy going down.
Yeah.
Buying power getting worse.
And then what they could do, with my concern, what they might be doing is prepping for a market crash where they're going to put 80% of their resources into gold and silver. They're going to double the value, and then they're going to crash the economy in half and maintain their wealth while everyone else loses.
Who's they?
50%.
Well, no.
Whoever's instilling the market.
They're going to sell all of their silver at the peak.
Oh, yeah, and then crash
the market, and then buy it all back
And
up.
it's basically the guys that collude to own the majority or a silent majority of the market, like BlackRock. I don't know who. I just imagine, people are involved with deciding when the market's going to crash and when it's going to boom and have been for a long time.
It's at $77 right now. It just spiked.
It's the only time in my life I've ever seen gold and silver like almost triple in value in a year or double.
Well, part of that is because of a lot of it is like Tim was saying, it's basically inflation. When I moved down to West Virginia, I first started doing the show. I was buying an ounce of silver for like $2,200, $2,100. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, an ounce of gold. My bad.
We did these promos. I had that stack of silver coins, and I think I bought it for a couple. What was it? $400, and now it's worth like $1,500. That's scary.
And it's a type of thing where it's like, I want to be rich, but at what cost? I don't want to hyperinflate the economy now all of a sudden I'm a rich guy.
Well, you're not getting rich. That's the point.
Ian, the question is, what does being rich mean?
Yeah, exactly. Less about the value of money. I want to increase the value of money across the board so we can all kind of thrive.
I'm going to tell you guys. Andrew Tate had a great point in his viral video where he said, if you know how much money you have, you're poor. And
I like that.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, if you're checking your bank account, that means you don't have enough.
No.
Or you might think you don't have enough.
That's not the point. The point is that he has so many investments all over the place, he doesn't know where they are or what they are. He can't even check his bank account. He's like, I invested $10 million in some company somewhere that I own equity in. It's worth 10, 15 million, maybe more. I bought a bunch of properties. It's managed by somebody else. I don't even know what's in it.
Okay.
Like, the point is, if you can open your bank account and look at the number, he says that's poor. Because rich people don't even know where their money's at.
Yeah, at least have 5 bank accounts.
It's not about bank accounts, Ian.
I know.
It's about like.
Well, I think Andrew Tate, that's pilot error on his part. He should know how much money he's got.
You
I mean,
you don't
missing
understand.
the point.
You're
Then
totally
whose
missing
money
the
is it? If he doesn't know where it is, he might as well not
Ian,
have it, you know?
If Andrew Tate hires a wealth manager and says, here's $50 million, invest it. At any given moment, he does not know how much money he has because the investments go up and down.
But the manager could rip him off and he wouldn't know.
Probably not,
that
but
happened
it's
to
possible.
that happened to Kanye,
I don't
I
think
think.
Charles Schwab is going to steal his money. I don't think the investment firm is going to steal his money that way. They could. The point is, if he wants to find out how much money he has to schedule a meeting, sit down, pull up the paperwork, go through the portfolio, start calculating values.
It costs him time to find out how much
Exactly.
it's expensive
That's
to
his
find
point
out how much money
about
he has.
rich people don't even know how much money they have. The reason I bring this up is you're talking about, wanting to be rich at what cost, and the question is, what does rich mean?
Yeah, exactly.
At a certain threshold of having money, rich means I don't have to worry about the bills anymore.
Yeah.
But rich people don't worry about the bills or even worry about their bank accounts. They're literally just like, I'm gonna fly halfway on the road for fun. And if the money, if you've got millions of dollars, just millions, $30,000 private jet, you're not gonna notice that number going down. Whether it goes up or down, oh.
It's sort of like if I invest heavily in a company and then the government prints $1 trillion and pumps that company and I make $1 million, I'm not happy about that because they're destroying my economy to make me rich. That's not the kind of rich I want to be.
My broader point is being rich simply means you control people. That's it.
Starting with yourself. You have the ability to say,
sure,
I'm
but
going
my
to go
point is like
do whatever
this.
I want.
If you are as rich as Andrew Tate, what does that really mean? He can have anything he wants. He can look at Elon Musk. He's building starships to go to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
That's rich. Rich for Elon Musk, it means he can literally go to a person and be like, within a person's moral boundaries, of course, but he can say, do a thing and I'll give you money. When you are truly wealthy, it means you have control over systems.
Yeah, and health. People have
You
mentioned
can
that.
buy buildings. You can build spaceships. You can send rockets to the moon. If you are wealthy, you can go to 50,000 people and say, I want all of you to start building rocket ships to the moon. And they'll go, okay, that's what being rich means. Because can Elon Musk eat the most delicious Wagyu beef ever made? Of course. And that's like the dude's worth $700 billion. How much money does he need to get the best Wagyu steak money can buy? $1,000. That's a rounding error for someone like Elon Musk. So at a certain point, buying things you want is a meaningless term to a rich person. Elon could buy like 7 yachts.
Yeah, I like this.
I don't need them. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.